Joining us today is Javon Ringer. Javon played running back for Michigan State from 2005 to 2008. He was an All-American and Heisman Trophy candidate at MSU, finishing second in career rushing attempts, rushing yards, and tied for first with most rushing touchdowns in a season with 22. Javon went on to play in the NFL from 2009 to 2012 for the Tennessee Titans, but we're going to start from the very beginning with Javon's athletic career. So, Javon, when did you first start playing sports, and did you play anything besides football growing up?
Wow. I first started playing football probably back when I was maybe like 9, 10 years old. Any other sports? Yeah, I did baseball. I played football and baseball, and then every now and then basketball. But a lot of my main sports was football and baseball. And then I sometimes I actually wish I would have stuck with baseball, but at that young of an age, it was just boring. But so I wanted to score touchdowns, so that eventually I just stopped with baseball and I just stuck with football fully.
Growing up, most kids have a favorite football player. Did you have one, and was he a running back?
Favorite? Yeah, well, Barry Sanders has always been a favorite of mine, always. Besides him, nobody really compared to him. Nobody compared to Barry Sanders. I loved watching him play, like seeing him run. That was just awesome. I liked that.
When did you first start getting noticed for football? What was that whole process like for you? Do you remember the first letter that you ever got?
I first started getting recruited my sophomore. I first started getting recruited my sophomore year of high school. That's when I started varsity. That's when I had a big sophomore year. That was the year we won state in my high school too, and I was blessed. I had a really good year, so I started getting recruited there. I think my first ever college letter, like in the mail, was from Iowa. So yeah, I started getting recruited in my junior year of high school. My sophomore year of high school.
You ended up committing to Michigan State. What was it about the program that sold you on becoming a Spartan?
Well, I chose Michigan State really. Okay, my senior year of high school, that's when I tore my ACL. And I had visits set up. Like, I was trying to set up some visits, but, I had just had surgery. I was on crutches, and honestly, I didn't really want to go to a lot of other schools, being around a whole bunch of other superstar athletes, and I'm just trying to crutch around to keep up. So when I finally was able to walk again, like to walk better, well, like without my crutches, I went to Michigan State. Me and my parents went to Michigan State, and just being around the players, everybody seemed real cool. That's when John L. Smith was the head coach there. I really liked him. And, I left there feeling good, and I honestly kind of thought like I still wanted to take some other visits, but my parents really liked that school. It wasn't too close to home, but it wasn't too far away. They had just had another thing that helped. They had just had a good recruit. I'm not recruiting. They had just had a good running game that year. Like, I remember Drew Stanley did good rushing the ball, Jason Teague, J.U. Coker, and another really fast running back they had, DeAndre Cobb. Yeah, that was all in 2004. I think they were like number one in the Big Ten in rushing, so that also helped persuade me to go there. I figured, like, hey, I could be able to go right in there and fit in. And I think DeAndre Cobb was a senior that year, so I knew he wouldn't be back. So I felt like that was I had a good chance on possibly getting some good playing time my freshman year.
Now, when you got to MSU as a freshman, did you have any older players take you under their wings and help you adjust to the college football level, or just helped you out in general?
I wouldn't necessarily say took me under their wing. Not necessarily that. I had good relationships with the older players, like mainly like the running backs helping me adjust to everything. Like J.U. was a year older than me, and so was Jason T. Jason T. was a couple years older. So just being with them and talking to them, they were all really good dudes. Like Jason and J.U., they were really good dudes. So they always helped out when they could, mainly just as far as just learning the playbook. And then a lot, me and my roommate, A.J. Jimerson, like we kind of would just go over things together, and we just kind of just took it from there. But nobody necessarily really literally like took me under their wing and just kind of showed me the ropes and all that stuff. Nobody really did that.
Well, you mentioned that you tore your ACL during high school and you were going on recruiting visits with crutches. So when you arrived at MSU, what were your expectations for yourself?
Well, coming to Michigan State, man, I definitely wanted to lead the Big Ten in rushing. I wanted to be considered one of the top running backs in the league. Of course, I wanted to win championships. I wanted to win the Big Ten, and go to the Rose Bowl, win the Rose Bowl. Like pretty much all the things that a kid would wish for. Like I wanted to just be successful. Like I came there with very high expectations. Like I just wanted to win. I wanted to win championships, just win. Beat Ohio State, beat Michigan, beat Penn State. Notre Dame was a big rival. Like I just, sky was the limit. Like I just wanted to be completely 100% successful. That was my first thoughts coming into Michigan State, but clearly it didn't work out that way.
All right, Javon, this is my favorite question to ask. The freshman moment for athletes when they realize that they aren't in high school anymore. Did you have a game or at practice, maybe a big hit or play that made you think, this isn't high school anymore?
I wouldn't say that I necessarily had a moment. I did know when we first got into camp, right away I saw like everything was faster, really mainly just between the linemen, like the offensive linemen, the defensive linemen, and linebackers, like the interior groups. Everybody was so much faster and a lot more athletic. I honestly feel like that's always the biggest transition. The biggest transition from high school to college and even from college to the NFL is always the in the trenches, like the linemen. Skill players, I feel like everybody's the same. Like you always got fast people and athletic people in high school and in college. Like skill players is always the same, but the dramatic difference to me, my personal opinion, is in the trenches between the defensive linemen, linebackers, and offensive linemen. So when I got into camp at Michigan State, that's the main thing that stood out to me. Like holes will open up quicker, but also close quicker. And D linemen were a lot more athletic, and linebackers were just as fast as you were. Like so, that was just kind of the thing I had to adjust to. But if you're thinking of a hit, I think I took my hardest hit ever. Even to this day, I still don't think I've taken a harder hit than my freshman year when we played against Michigan. Never forget his name. He was a big tackle. His name was Dave Watson. He kind of caught me on the screen and kind of caught me coming off the spin move and just he really laid into me. That was the hardest hit I took. So I guess maybe if that wants to be a welcome to college moment, even though that was later on in the season. Yeah, I definitely remember that was the hardest hit I've ever taken.
Well, Javon, that leads me to my next question. With the biggest hit you ever took being from Michigan, what were the rivalries with Michigan and Notre Dame like? Were the hits any bigger or lots of trash talk in them?
Well, every game is intense, but I guess from what you're saying, in a way, yeah. Like every school, every team, they always have their rivals. No matter what they say. Of course, every game on the schedule is important, and you got to bring your A game. But there is always that extra boost when you're going against an actual rival school. And us, our big ones was, of course, Notre Dame and Michigan. And Notre Dame, we always played pretty quick. It was usually like third or fourth game of the year. And preparing for them. The difference in practice, the actually playing the game, going to the stadium and playing at Notre Dame Stadium. Yeah, those games were always a little more exciting, I guess you could say. And the same thing goes to Michigan too. Like we never cared for Michigan. Never cared for Michigan, man. We always wanted to beat Michigan. That was a rival school that we. The games didn't get any bigger for us than that, than Notre Dame and Michigan.
Your freshman season against Illinois, you went off 194 yards on the ground on only 13 carries. 13 carries, 194 yards. I think you may have had a 59-yard run. Was that the one where you got flipped up in the air, or was that on a different run?
No, the one I got flipped up in the air was only maybe an 8 to 10 yard run. Actually, I was hitting it with a stretch play, and I was hitting the sideline, and I tried to dive to the end zone, and the safety kind of clipped me up under my legs, and I flipped. So that was when I was right by the end zone. That game was a blessing, man. The offensive line did a tremendous job for me blocking that entire game. They they made a lot of times I wouldn't even have to really make a move until I was into the secondary. So a lot of the credit personally, I feel like should go to them. Like they made that day pretty easy for me. I know I got a lot of the shine because of it, but they were the most important part of that day.
Fast forward a year later during your sophomore season against Illinois, and your knee gets hurt. Did you think you were done that year when it first happened? And what was it like with the grueling rehab? Because you were able to make it back that season for the final 3 games.
At first, I didn't know. When I got the hit, I knew something was wrong right away, and I was just hoping it wasn't another ACL again. But when I finally did, when I got to the sideline, they checked my knee and was letting me know what happened. My first question was like, how long am I out? Like, how long does this take to recover from? And they said, I remember Doc saying it was like 4 to 5 weeks. And it's funny, the first thing I thought about was, damn, man, I'm going to miss the Michigan game. And I think we ended up playing Michigan like that next week in Ohio State. I was upset that I was going to have to miss those. But, man, that rehab was frustrating because I was already upset that I was hurt to begin with. But then, as the weeks were going on in our team, we were losing pretty much, and I wanted to contribute. Like I wanted to get back out there on the field and at least do what I could to make this season memorable for my friends. Like I wanted to keep playing. Like I wanted to be out there battling with our guys. So every day, it's just trying to be as consistent as possible with this rehab and just busting my tail. Like I've always had a habit on working on my legs anyway. Like I've always kept my legs as strong as possible. So the actual work was nothing that I wasn't unfamiliar with. It was just the process of having to start slow. Like I kept wanting to go fast, but I couldn't overdo it. But I don't know, it was more so just trying to stay consistent.
We're speaking with Javon Ringer, running back from Michigan State from 2005 to 2008. Now, Javon, between your freshman and sophomore seasons at MSU, you switched your number from 39 to 23. Why was that?
Well, I changed it. I never wanted 39. That was just a number that was given to me my freshman year, and technically I wasn't anybody. Like I wasn't no superstar or nothing at the time. So they were just like, here, freshman, I got 39. And I never liked that number. I just wanted to change it. So then finally that next year, when I had the opportunity to, I don't know, I kind of started brainstorming about different people who had my different numbers that I could get. And I couldn't really think of too many running backs with the number 23. So I just picked it. I wanted to kind of be a little different. A lot of running backs had like number 20 or 22 or 28. I don't know. I couldn't think of many running backs with number 23, so I just picked number 23, and I stuck with it.
In 2007, after the Michigan game, Mike Hart called MSU little brother. That seemed to set Coach Dantonio off. Do you remember what it was like in the locker room after the game, or when you first heard those remarks? What did you think of when you first heard it?
I remember hearing about that little comment Mike said. It was a bitter taste because it was like you couldn't really do anything about it at the time because you lost. Like we lost the game. So of course they can say whatever they want to say because they won. I mean, that's something we had to deal with for a year. But yes, with Coach D and that coaching staff, man, that was a number one priority for them was to beat Michigan. They wanted to. They didn't like losing Michigan. So yeah, that definitely. It didn't necessarily change the focus because Coach D, as everybody can see, he's always an intense guy. And Renard Doozy and the rest of the coaching staff, they work good together. So yeah, we definitely wanted to. That was more so. I remember when we heard about that comment, it was almost like you had to take it at that moment because you couldn't play Michigan again for that following year. But when that next year came, that's something we never forgot. Michigan was always real conceited. They were just a real conceited team, and Coach D and the coaching staff and us as players, like we wanted to shut that up. We wanted to make sure that they didn't forget how disrespectful that they were.
Your junior season, the team makes it to a bowl game for the first time in a while. MSU is selected to the Champs Sports Bowl against Boston College. Now, that must have been a pretty good feeling helping the Spartans to a bowl game, am I right? They haven't been there in a long time.
Yeah, that was a nice feeling. It has been some years since they were able to get to a bowl game, and finally being able to make it to one to myself is, like I told you, I had a lot of expectations coming into college, and I felt like none of them were achieved until finally winning championships, and then finally being able to go to a bowl game my junior year. It was a blessing. It was very exciting. We felt like times definitely were changing. Nobody likes to lose, and for us to finally be on the winning side, just to finally make it to a bowl game, it was like all that hard work, man. Nobody really sees a lot of the students and the kids and the media and announcers. They don't see all that hard work that you put in during the off season, in the weight room, and winter conditioning, and summer conditioning, and camp. They don't see all that. So finally, just to have that seem like all that finally paid off for us to finally make it to a bowl game, man, that was a blessing.
Let's talk your senior season, Javon. We're talking about one of the greatest rushing seasons in Spartan history. There are so many games we could discuss, but let's talk about the 5 touchdowns against Eastern Michigan first. It must have been pretty nice to score some touchdowns after J.U. Colcrick hogged them all the year before, right?
Yeah, it was nice. I don't want to consider him hogging them all. Me and Jay just had a good relationship. Like we had a nice system, and it worked for us. And I didn't mind him getting a lot of those touchdowns when we were, getting close to the goal line. But finally, just being able to score on my senior, because I felt like I was always capable. J.U. was just him being the bigger back. It was just more, I don't know, convenient, or I don't know. It was just kind of just made more sense. But me doing it my senior year, it was just, I was happy that I was at least able to show that I could do it, and to continue to be as successful as J.U. was at it was a real good feeling for me.
The very next game, MSU plays Florida Atlantic in some of the worst weather conditions ever. The field was drenched with rain, it was cold, it was wet, but yet you rushed for 282 yards, good for 4th in single-game history for the Spartans. You have to tell me about that game. What do you remember about it, and how was it playing in that weather? How did you manage 282 yards rushing?
I remember that game. It rained a lot, clearly. It rained a whole lot that game. The whole game. Like, it was just a drench of rain. But the good thing about it, even though with as much as it was raining, you would think that the field would be super muddy. But, the people at Michigan State, I swear, their grass, I haven't played on any better field than what I did at Michigan State. As much rain as it was, there was no mud. There was no big dips, like just bad grass out. Everything felt good. So even though it was raining, I still had all the traction that I needed to be able to do what I needed to do. So it actually helped. It helped me. I just had to make sure I hung on to the ball. We knew we were going to be running the ball out that game. So we just had to pound it to them. It was definitely hard passing with passing the ball in those type of conditions. So we were just able to take advantage of it in the run. And I was just thankful enough. Offensive line had their heads right, and we attacked them.
Another stat that you have in the record book is most carries in a single game. Against Indiana, you had 44 carries, which ranks 4th most in a single game. How are you able to handle that many rushing attempts, not only in that game, but in the season and in your career? I mean, did you ever get tired?
I'm not going to say it was easy, but, I knew Coach D trusted me getting the ball. Like, a lot of the other guys were young, like the receivers, even though we had some good receivers. Like, I'll never just take all the credit and make it seem like we just didn't have any other talent on that team. We had some great receivers on that team, even still my senior year, and clearly, which they were able to show once they became sophomore, juniors, and seniors. Just that specific year, Coach D trusted me with the ball. And, I knew how much I wanted to make this year a success and to be able to do what I needed to do to help our team win. So in games when I had to carry the ball like that, it was almost just just a pride thing. I never was gonna turn it down. And if you give me the ball, like I'm gonna do everything I can with it to be successful. Like I'm gonna run as hard as I possibly can, as fast as I can. Like I'm gonna just kind of just do everything I need to do to make sure I'm helping our team win. So if it costs me getting the ball 40-something plus times a game, you know, I prepared my body well for it. I'm a very strong guy. I'm actually stronger than even what I look. So, you know, and that's now that a lot of that came with Coach Manning and Coach Holden, our strength and conditioning coaches. So my body, it's not like I wasn't physically prepared. So yeah, just had to do what you got to do sometimes.
In 2008, the team travels to Ann Arbor. This is your last game against Michigan. This is after the little brother comment. What was your mindset, and what was the team's mindset going into this game? How bad did you guys want this?
A combination of very focused, added with, you know, we wanted to be very intense that game. There was nobody wanted to be selfish. We all wanted to make sure we all did our own part individually to make sure we win, and that was my last shot. Like, that was it. This was my last. Like, for a lot of the seniors that were on that team, we knew this was it. This was our last chance on ever being able to beat this team. Like, we never beat Michigan. Every year we had close games with them, but we never got over that hump and won. So, I mean, we were very focused, and we knew that this was our last chance. Like, this was it. There was no coming back next year. So we had to just kind of just give it everything we could that game.
Speaking with Javon Ringer about his college memories, and in the second quarter of your senior game against Michigan, you take a handoff and run into a pile of players, but you spin off and run for a 64-yard touchdown. I know you remember the play, so you got to take us through it. What was it like?
Yeah, it was just a power play, honestly. Because it was almost the end of the half, and honestly, I guess they were in a defense as if they thought we were just going to try to pass the ball and get it all the way downfield just by throwing. But we ended up running the ball. Like, we just kind of ran a power play, which actually I felt I was just probably a setup to get into throwing the ball. I wanted to see how much we could get with a run first and then start passing. But, I mean, I guess lucky for me and, you know, being blessed that my offensive line did what they did, I was able to kind of just do a lot more with it than to just set up a 2-minute offense. Yeah, it was just a straight power play. It was 43 power to the left. Ran to a pile, spent off of it, and just kind of hit the sideline.
As a senior, you go into Ann Arbor, you beat Michigan for the first time in your career. What were your emotions like after the game? After all those close games you had with Michigan, you finally beat them. You know, what was that like?
Man, of course, clearly it felt amazing. To necessarily put it into words, it's hard to describe. It was more so just like a getting a monkey off your back. Like, I'm pretty sure I can vouch for anybody who's played against a rival. It sucks when you never can beat your rival school. Like, you went your entire college career and you never were able to beat, you know, your big rival. And for us to finally do it, my last year, it's like I got the last laugh. Like, we lost to them in overtime. I remember for me personally, we lost to them in overtime my freshman year. My sophomore year, I didn't even get to play against them because I was hurt. Then my junior year, we had it, but then lost it towards the end. That was another close game. And now finally my senior year, man, being able to get that win was, I mean, it was undescribable. Finally just felt like, yes, man, I finally did it, and this was it. Like, I left my college career with this last win over Michigan, and I was blessed to see the following year that kind of started a nice little chain of always beating Michigan. I think we beat them again 5 years after that, 5 years in a row after that. But it was a good feeling, man. It was definitely a blessing.
You had a lot of recognition as a player, all Big Ten, all American. You were in the Heisman race. Looking back at those things, what do they mean to you?
It means a lot. I have a lot of pride. Like, I always wanted to be considered one of the best. I always did. And to be able to say that those are things that I was able to accomplish in college, like, there's a lot of people who come through playing college ball, and there's a lot of running backs, and I was able to accomplish a lot of goals that I had set out to do. And I don't know, man. Just when I look back and kind of reminisce, And I was very, very proud of myself, and I was proud of the fact that I was able to play with some of the people that I did play with to help in that success. But I know it wasn't just all me. I thank God every day that the fact that even with all these injuries that I've had, I still was able to be successful, and I was still able to come back, still just as strong, just as explosive and as quick. It was definitely a blessing to be able to accomplish a lot of the goals that I did, and to be up for some of the awards that I was up for. That's something that a lot of people wish that they could do, and that's something I get to be able to say, I was blessed enough to have done it. So it makes me, I was happy. I'm happy about a lot of that.
The final 2 years of your career at MSU, you were coached by a guy named Mark Dantonio. So you were there from the beginning with him. What was he like back then, and do you feel a sense of pride being part of the turnaround at MSU? I mean, you guys really got the ball rolling for the Spartans to become what they are today.
When Coach B first got there, I would say he was a lot more. I don't know. He's still just as an intense and as tough of a guy now as he was then. But it's just now you see him smile a little more. Like, I mean, he's been able to win more. Like, Coach D is an amazing coach to me, and it's not just him. Like, and he stresses that too. Like, it's the whole coaching staff. Like, they work so well together. So when they first got in, they were so intense and so focused on they wanted to change everything because we were losing. I mean, that's just the reality of it. We were losing, and a lot of the guys that we even had in, they weren't his recruits. So. And, I felt like, again, with Coach D, they do a great job with recruiting and getting talent that we need to be successful. And to be honest, before they got there, some of the people we had on that team, I don't feel like they really would have been people that Coach D and them would have went after. But when they got there, they knew we needed to change. We changed our offense around. With Coach Narduzzi, as great of a defensive coach as he is, he changed that defense around. And, it was just all about changing. Like, nothing was the same when they first got there. They wanted to change everything, and it was fun to be able to do it. And then when we actually started winning, to see the outcome of all that, that was good too. And to be able to say that I was part of that first group of people to kind of help start how good they've been doing now, I'm happy about that. Like, I mean, it's an honest moment, and that's a good feeling, but it still kind of sucks in a way because I was able to go out to the Rose Bowl, and I got a lot of congratulations at the Rose Bowl, and a lot of people thanking me for being one of the people to help start this. Like, that's all fine and dandy, but it's still, you never got to. I didn't win. I wanted to go to the Rose Bowl too. Like, that's something like their experience was something that I never got to experience. Like, I hated losing, man. I hate losing. Like, I hate the fact that sometimes I have to look back and think that we helped start what's going on now, but it's like we still didn't win anything. We didn't. It was tough. So it's kind of like a good and bad feeling. It's a blessing to be able to say we did help start this. Like, we helped start the tradition that's going on now. But I honestly wouldn't have mind coming in now and at least being part of the winning team also. And everybody wants to win, and nobody likes to lose. So, but yeah, it was good. It's a good feeling.
Yeah, everybody does like winning, that's for sure. In the 2009 NFL Draft, you were taken by the Tennessee Titans in the 5th round. Was that a dream come true for you to play in the NFL and get drafted?
Yes. Definitely was a dream come true. I always had expectations on, I definitely wanted to make it to the NFL. And the fact that I was able to get an opportunity to do it, that definitely was a tremendous blessing to me.
Well, Javon, I just wanted to thank you for being on our show, taking time out of your day to talk about your tremendous career at MSU and how you helped turn the program around. So, Javon, we'll talk to you later, and of course, go green.
All right, thank you, man. I appreciate it.